60% of Gen Zs are being fired within the first 6 months of employment.
Considering the growing competition in the job market, how do you stand out as a young professional?
Look for those opportunities to step in, even if it scares you.
One thing that students can do to instantly be more hireable.
I think it's really important to not rely on AI.
Hey everybody, my name is Alex Jang and welcome back to the Job Anxious podcast, where we help university students and fresh graduates deal with the anxiety of trying to get a job in this economy. Last episode, we had an employment consultant on to teach us what to do in order to make our applications look good. This episode, we're interviewing one of Centennial College's professors, Donna Lindell, on the soft skills you need in order to actually do work at your job. That's kind of important, you know? With that out of the way, I hope you enjoy the show.
Listeners, welcome back. And joining us now is Donna Lindell, a journalism and public relations professor at Centennial College. She's been working for 14 years and been helping students get jobs the entire time. Donna, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you, Alex.
Okay, so just to start, you are a professor, and one of the jobs of a professor is to help prepare students for the working world. Besides the whole "I'm helping you get a degree" thing, how do you help students?
Well, I like to think of it in terms of the softer skills or the hidden curriculum. So beyond assignments that you're going to be doing in the real world, anything from creating podcasts. In the public relations world, it might be creating news releases, but actual work that you'll be doing in the real world. There's also the softer skills that you learn in the process of doing these assignments. So group work, time management, professionalism, being prepared when you come to class, and being punctual, meeting deadlines. All of those seem like they're part of just being in school, but they're all skills that employers want. And I think in addition to that, given that AI is now a fact of life, it's the ability to be resilient and to critically think and to collaborate and to be curious, and to have that perspective that only a human can provide. And those are all sort of waning in a bit, but they're all really essential employability skills.
Okay, so what have you noticed has changed in student readiness over the years?
I think what I've noticed is it is the softer skills. And really in a post-COVID student, I have noticed a difference. And it's not just me. I see this across the board. I follow teacher threads. And collectively, what we're seeing, and not just in post-secondary, but across the board, I have two sons that are roughly your ages. One's in first year university, one's in third. But I think part of what COVID did is there was a level of impact on social skills and the ability to work together in groups because students weren't seeing each other face to face. There is an impact on executive functioning, which includes ability to organize and stay on a timetable and stay on deadline and meet the requirements and read instructions and complete assignments. And I've also noticed an increase in anxiety levels, partly being in a classroom face-to-face and working in classrooms, but just overall on the volume and the amount that we throw at students. They're a little less resilient than the students that I maybe worked with before COVID.
Hi everyone, I'm sitting in this chair again because I need to tell you about the Toronto Observer. The Toronto Observer is an online publication made by Centennial College's journalism students. It has all of our content, our written work, and our podcasts. And this means that if you watch stuff on this and follow us on the Observer, you're helping us get employed. So because we're helping you get employed, please help us get employed by following the Toronto Observer on both TikTok and YouTube. With that out of the way, let's get back to the show.
Do you think that's going to be a trend that's going to continue? How with the internet developing the way it is, are we going to see a downturn in student resiliency, or is there like, is this just a slight dip before it goes back up?
I hope it's not the trend. I hope it's just, we're 6 years out of COVID now. But I do think it requires sort of a new level of human interaction, especially with AI, because while we were dealing with COVID and that had its own set of consequences, AI is kind of the next big thing that we have to adjust. And I think it's important for young people looking for work to really look at the kind of person employers are looking for in the job description, not just beyond the hard skills, but the soft skills, and to look at reports on job skills required for the future and to find ways to hone those skills beyond the classroom. So there might be volunteering, for example, getting involved in the community, getting involved in student groups, work on the side. So I hope it's not the trend, but I was just talking about a study that came out a couple of weeks ago that 60% of Gen Zs are being fired within the first 6 months of employment. That's insane and frightening. I worry about the students in my class because it is a very different job market out there right now. Youth unemployment rate among 18 to 24-year-olds is a high right now. I can't remember the statistic, but it's alarming. There was, somebody I heard on the radio today talking about summer jobs. Yes, I worry, especially since a lot of the entry-level positions are being replaced by AI, and employers are really dealing with hundreds and hundreds of applications that they have to go through to find the right candidate. And I still believe in there may be candidates out there that don't necessarily tick all the boxes on the skills required, but it's looking for those softer skills and the students' or the applicant's ability to be resilient and a go-getter and driven and ambitious and really willing to put in the work. That's the kind of employee that I would want to hire.
Talking about employers, what would you say to them when, as somebody who's preparing candidates for those prospective employers, what would you say to them when looking for the best candidate for their programs?
I think it's really important to not rely on AI because you may not have the candidate. It's called a purple squirrel. When there's a job description that you read and it's an entry-level position and it requires 3 years of work or 3 articles been published, it's unrealistic. There is no such thing that exists. It's purple squirrel. They don't exist. But they put everything in there in hope that they'll find a candidate that meets 90% of the requirement. It's become mathematical rather than, when I applied, it was kind of based on, wow, I like your vibe. I see you're ambitious. I see you're a go-getter. I think even though you don't have all the skills or experience to take this position, that you've got enough ambition. I can see the fire in your eyes for me to kind of take a chance on you. And I'm grateful for those employers who have done that. I think of the one when I worked at Manulife Financial. And at the age of 32, I was promoted to vice president corporate communications. I was the youngest female vice president in the company's history. And that's because somebody kind of looked at me and went, you've got the fire. And if I were to apply for that same job now at that age, there's no way I would get it. But I did it. I won awards for it. I was named one of Canada's top 40 under 40 for those career achievements. But it's a whole different world. And so I would say to employers, bring them in, bring somebody in. Just as I tell students, make sure your resume doesn't sound like it's been written by AI, that there's something in there that makes you unique and makes you stand out and shows that you've got personality and something that differentiates you from your peers. For employers, be okay to look for that softer skill of somebody that's got that energy and drive to make things work.
All right. Last thing. Considering the growing competition in the job market, how do you stand out as a young professional?
It's a great question. I think take advantage of opportunities. So my first job in fourth year university, I had worked over the summer writing articles for a magazine. And by the end of the summer, none of the articles had been published, and my boss left. And I walked in September of my 4th year to say, let me put the magazine together until you find someone else. And the boss replied, if you can do it, why do I need to find someone else? And I was manager publications in 4th year university. I would leave classes and hop on an airplane to go to a meeting in Toronto, publishing a magazine, continuing to write content. And so you have to step into those opportunities. There was another time when, one of my colleagues who was in a higher position than me went on leave. And again, I did the same thing. I can do her job. I'll do both until she comes back. Great. She never came back. They promoted me to her job. So look for those opportunities to step in, even if it scares you. Make yourself available, constantly be on the scan for how can I make myself more useful? How can and I went into media relations. I didn't even know what media relations was. And he, again, took a chance on me, said, if you can do it, why do I need to find someone else? And I was given that opportunity, which I'm grateful for. So don't be afraid to do things that scare you. And I think sometimes job descriptions scare people because they're like, I don't meet all those qualifications. Go in there anyways, and then position yourself for the softer skills or the skills that make you stand out or the personality traits that make you stand out or the transferable skills so that they realize your potential and that you're worth the investment in time.
This is probably the last thing I should take away from this, but how much did they pay for your flights to Toronto?
Oh, of course, yeah.
How much did the plane ticket cost back then?
Oh, I don't know. It was I don't think I had the business card. I had the business card, but I don't think I had the business credit card, but they booked their flight. I'd fly. I mean, it was hilarious because I would fly to Toronto, and then I remember coming back asking for a drink, like an alcoholic drink on the flight back, and they asked me for ID, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because I was working, and I remember I spent a day in the office. One of my classes was online, even back then, and I would watch the class in my boss's office and take notes, and then I'd go back to producing the magazine, and I was just fortunate. A lot of what happens is being in the right place at the right time, but in order for you to do that, you have to be in the right place, and in order to do that, you have to get off your computer and you have to get out there and be willing to meet people and network and go to events and introduce yourself and kind of do the scary stuff. If you think your entire job search is going to happen by continuing to apply for jobs on LinkedIn, well, it's not don't do it, but just do it. That's not your only tool in the toolbox. You have to, diversify and put yourself out there.
All right. Ending it on a more fun note, I have 5 rapid fire questions that we can get through. Lightning round time. Okay, so favorite class that you teach?
Podcasting.
One thing that students can do to instantly be more hireable?
Attitude.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, morning.
Favorite book?
Oh, my last one. Anything written by Fredrik Backman. He's a Swedish author. And my last one that I read of his was My Friends, which is extraordinary. He really is a master storyteller. He's a little bit neurotic. And so I think that contributes to his character development. And I just love it. And they're totally shareable. I should, but he also wrote the trilogy about hockey culture, and so I've read every single one of his books, and I've met him.
Your heroes. Now that you say he's Swedish, it makes a lot of sense he wrote a book about hockey because Swedes great at it.
Yeah, they're all amazing books.
Go-to way to relax.
Pilates. I exercise. I don't know if it's to relax. It's to manage stress for sure. So and watching TV, I think, Shrinking or one of those. But exercise is crucial to my existence.
And one hobby you wish you had more time for?
Exercise, probably. But I actually make it a priority. Also why I teach in the mornings, so that, and why I made you do it now is because I have a Pilates class at 1.
Ah, thank you for your time, Donna.
Great. Nice to be here. Thanks, Olive.
Hi! Back in the seat for the last time, because that's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the Toronto Observer YouTube channel. And I hope to see you again next time.